Hi, I'm John Phillips, and my grandfather was John Galbreath, who was quite the sportsman, enjoying all sports of virtually any nature and kind. And that included even facilities. And he ended up, for many years, owning Hialeah racetrack. And he did so largely because it was such an elegant track, and there was a great deal of concern that it would be extirpated from the winter circuit down there simply because of politics and the like, and he thought he could stabilize that situation for winter racing in Florida. And so he owned the track for many years, and it was a source of great fun for him to have his horses there and his two-year-olds there. And of course, at one point in the 50s and 60s in particular, it was the highlight of American racing during the winter months. He also enjoyed other sports such as baseball, and in the early 50s he became the majority owner of the Pittsburgh Pirates. And that was always an interesting story for him and an interesting part of his life. He was a real believer in meritocracy, so your language or your color of your skin was irrelevant to him. Indeed, Branch Rickey was his first hire as a general manager of the Pirates. And he was able to organize teams that won and participated in and won all 3 World Series from his ownership in the early 50s to 1984 when the team was sold by the family. And he made a lot of friends through baseball as well. Bing Crosby, there was a lot of crossover. Bing Crosby, for example, who was a key player in creating Del Mar and was an advocate promoter of Del Mar, also is part owner of the Pittsburgh Pirates with John Galbreath, my grandfather. So there was a lot of carryover, and indeed, in 1975, Bing Crosby came to the Kentucky Derby with John Galbreath and was a frequent fisherman with John Galbreath. So he got along and got around fairly well as a sportsman. Got to know some of the baseball players really well, and indeed, some of the baseball players would have horses named for them. Our Captain Willie in 1979 was the MVP of the World Series and had a horse by the name of Our Captain Willie, who was a stakes winner in New York.
Willie Stargell.
Willie Stargell, yes. And of course, Roberto Clemente, John's favorite, I think, favorite player of all time was probably Roberto Clemente. And my grandfather named a horse for Roberto that he thought would be pretty good. And in a move of luck, decided he was going to try to win the English Derby with this horse, and literally sent him to England, to Ireland, actually, and then to England to win the English Derby, and he did just that. And the great Roberto Clemente was thrilled with that, although sadly he never got to see Roberto. He was going to come down in the winter of '73, and tragically Roberto Clemente was killed in a humanitarian effort December 31st, 1972. Very, very sad, tragic event, but it showed the grace and humanitarian quality that Roberto Clemente always had. And so for the family to have a horse that was successful not only as a racehorse but also as a great sire, to honor Roberto Clemente, that was sort of double great fortune, if you will. And the family had a lot of fun with baseball and with horse racing during the 60s and particularly the 70s. Pirates won 2 World Series at that time, and Little Current came along, and Tempest Queen was there for Dorothy Galbreath, my grandmother. Had a lot of other great horses during that same time. So it was a great experience for him. And ultimately, he won the Breeders' Cup Classic in 1985, which really distinguished him as not only a Derby and Derby winner, but a Breeders' Cup Classic. All of those horses being not only owned, but bred and raised by grandfather, which was a great thrill.
Behind Roberto is Charlie with Yaroslav making good ground, and Lifar, one of the back markers, and making a wide swing into Tatnam corner, a very wide swing indeed. It's Pentland first with 3 furlongs to run, and Lifar's run almost off the course, right over to the very far side and dropped back to stone last, coming up to the 2.5 furlong point now, and it's Pentland first clear in the derby from Meadow Mint, then Ormindo, then making very good progress is Roberto with Rheingold at the 2 furlong marker, and it's Pentland first being challenged by Lester Piggott on Roberto, then comes Rheingold, then Meadow Mint, behind them Ormindo, coming up towards the furlong marker now, and it's Rheingold who's hit the front from Roberto. It's Rheingold from Roberto and Pentland first, Rheingold on the near side, Roberto on the far side. It's a great race home between these two, Rheingold and Roberto. Roberto inching his way back as they come to the line. It's a photo finish, Roberto and Rheingold with Pentland.
This is one of my favorite areas here, things to show about, because you see the mix of baseball and horse racing here with the World Series trophy. The family won 3 of them with Roberto Clemente's bat also there, which was in his locker room when he tragically passed away. And this is the family in 1971 with Roberto having hit a home run in the 7th game in 71, tying up the game score 1-1, which the Pirates ultimately won. And I keep the book there, The Team That Changed Baseball, because it's a thing I'm quite proud about. And that the family was very committed to baseball, to America being a meritocracy, not caring whether you're Hispanic or Asian or African American or Irish American, and none of that was supposed to make any difference in America. And it certainly didn't make any difference on the baseball field. And just by happenstance in 1971, the Pirates started an all-minority team. Wasn't any kind of a social statement. It was just the best team that we could field in 1971 on that particular day. And so the book is about the pirate philosophy, if you will, about just being an American and playing baseball as an American, even if you were from Panama, such as Manny Sanguian. And so that was something that we were very proud about in the family, as it turned out. Although it was not easy in the 60s, there was a lot of criticism of the family because we had that philosophy and America was not as open-minded as it is now. And so these are the various memorabilia. There's a picture of Willie Stargell out there, who had the We Are Family years. He had a horse named after him too, called Our Captain Willie. And then we had a horse named Hail the Pirates, which was quite great. And so it's been a lot of fun over the years.
And then this is the
World Series trophy from 1971. And we have a lot of hats and paraphernalia there, as you can see. That one baseball bat to the left is Hal Smith's 3-run homer in the 7th game of the 1960 World Series, which really set up the Bill Mazeroski's home run in the bottom of the 9th inning that won it for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
And you said you're in this picture here with
I'm sort of right behind the cameraman there, cameraman's hand really. And then my father's there, and then closer to Roberto Clemente with the glasses is my uncle, and the grandfather there, the very happy gentleman in the hat, and my mother, and my nephew, Squire. Actually, it's my cousin.
There's a drive up the middle. Hernandez in back of the bag. He's got him, Jackie Hernandez. Look at Glass. Glass has pitched the Pirates to the World Championship. All right, Pittsburgh the winner. Glass, of course, is the winning pitcher today, and Cuellar the loser. Clemente has been named the outstanding player of the series, as Sport Magazine will award him the Dodge Charger as the outstanding player. And now let's go down to the Pittsburgh clubhouse, the world champions. Thank you very much, Kurt Gowdy. Well, here they are, a very hilarious group of people. The Commissioner of Baseball, one of the owners, Thomas P. Johnson, and of course, Danny Galbreath, Steve Blass, the winning pitcher. This place is pandemonium as the Pittsburgh Baseball Club came on to do it. And Commissioner, this has been a great World Series, and I know you have a presentation you'd like to make, sir, at this time.
Yes, sir, I do. Danny?
Danny Murtaugh stepping in here with Commissioner Buicon.
See, we can handle this. This is emblematic of the World Championship in 1971, and I think your team has earned it as a championship squad that came from behind to win like champions and beat the Baltimore Orioles, who had been the reigning champions. And I congratulate you and your players and Steve Blass and your whole club.
Thank you, Commissioner. I don't believe there's been a better played series since I've been around anyway. I'm deeply grateful.
Danny Murtaugh, let me step in here for just a moment. 1960, you performed the impossible, and you did it again. Congratulations here in 1971.
Thank you, Bob.
Steve Blass, who pitched such a great game. Steve, coming in here with Chairman of the Board, Mr. John Galbreath. Steve, I know you just can't express yourself emotion-wise. You're all wrung out.
I don't know what to say. This is the biggest thrill that could ever happen. I don't believe it. From a skinny kid from Falls Village, Connecticut.
Yeah, well, not so skinny out there. You showed them all there was to show them, Steve. And was there any one moment in that ball game that had you really worried?
There were several. One when they had the two men on, and then one hanging slider I threw to Davey Johnson that he popped up, but he missed the pitch. I can't believe how many people have this kind of an opportunity.
Well, you rose right to the occasion, and here with me right now, the greatest right fielder in the game of baseball, Roberto Clemente. Bobby, congratulations on a great World Series.
Thank you, Bob. And before I say anything in English, I would like to say something for my mother and father in Spanish. En el día más grande de mi vida, para los nenes la bendición mía y que mis padres me echen mi bendición en Puerto Rico. Mr. and Mrs. Clemente, we love them too.
Yeah, we understood you. Now here's the chairman of the board, Mr. John Galbreath. I know how thrilled you are, Mr. Galbreath.
I can't say anything other than it's magnificent. Just magnificent. Danny will do the talking here.
Yes, and here's the president of the ball club, Danny Galbreath. Danny, well, as the president of the club, you now have come in like your father before you, 11 years before he won the championship as the president of the club. Now you're the president. I know that you can go home with this one and really feel happy.
Well, Bob, it's a great heritage to follow here with Dad. And the way these boys fought back, I think, shows the class of a real winner. And I'm so happy for all of them, as well as the folks back in Pittsburgh that have been supporting us all the way.